Welcome back everyone to another breakdown episode where we take a look at the brand new units that are coming, both, well actually mainly on JP because, you know, if they come to JP we know they're going to come to Global, but I'm going to give you my thoughts on the 3 brand new units, what I think they'll be good for, what good teams you might be able to run them in, etc, etc, similar to what we did with the new Oslo and Hawk, who turned out to be an absolute failure. But first character we have is the brand new blue Lostvayne Meliodas, not a festival unit. He's in the, in the Ragnarok banner that's coming, the first one. It's a 600 gem banner. You get a GSR. I think you get to pick which one you get. And of course it's 3% rate. So this guy, depending on how smart people are, this guy can easily, and I mean easily, become a new meta. Very, very easily. It's just that I don't know how smart people are in terms of team building and what they think. But let's take a look. So obviously he's blue, which is, very nice considering the biggest threat in the current meta is red, which is Ban. Reverse winner: at the start of battle during the ally's turn, increase the hero's ultimate move gauge by the amount of orbs possessed by the hero with the most number of orbs. Limit 1 time, up to 3 orbs. Basically, he will gain ultimate gauge in okay, how can I break this down in a way that makes sense? You start the turn, right? Let's say Lostvayne has 1 gauge. And let's say someone has 2 gauge, right? Because you're going first, you have Green Merlin sub, and the unit on the left top deck the card, they have 2 gauge. What Lostvayne is going to do is he's going to copy the 2 gauge from, the ally. 2 gauge because that ally has the highest ult gauge on the team, and he's going to add it. Not copy it, but he'll add it. So Lostvayne at the start of that turn is going to have 3 gauge because the other ally has 2, and so Lostvayne will take it. I don't know if he removes it from the ally or if he just adds it to his, but basically it's incredibly broken, very, very broken. Quite simply, the way he is designed easily tells me they want you to run him with the green Elizabeth. I don't know if you guys know what green Elizabeth does, but let me just show you. If we go to list, we go to Elizabeth, this one right here, they want you to run this Lostvayne with this Elizabeth. Do you know why? Because this Elizabeth starts the game with 2 gauge. If you run her with Green Merlin in sub, she starts with 3. Do you see where I'm going now? You can have this girl on 3 gauge if you use CC food and you go first. If you want to go second, you can actually give her 4 gauge. So what I'm trying to say is, depending on how you build the team, this Lostvayne can actually start the game with max gauge. I kid you not. He can actually start the fight going second with 5 gauge, which is absolutely insane. Although I probably wouldn't recommend you do this. Maybe if you're free to play, you might try and do this. If you're a whale, you're easily gonna run Green Merlin sub. You're gonna put your CC food on. You're gonna enter the fight, and your Lostvayne is gonna have 4 gauge, right? So where do we go with this? You run him with the green Liz. You run Green Diane, the taunt one, and you run Merlin sub. You start the fight, your Lostvayne has 4 gauge. Because he'll start the fight with 1 gauge. Elizabeth will start the fight with 3. He'll take the 3 gauge from Elizabeth, add it to himself, he has 4 gauge. You move a Lostvayne card, you apply the Diane taunt, and you basically win, pretty much. You can waste another card just to see if you'll draw another Lostvayne card, and that's pretty much game over. The fact that he's blue, if you have him 6/6 with 2 cards in hand, there is an incredibly high chance that he will one-shot your entire opponent. He will just one-shot the team. If you draw a 3rd card by wasting 1 more skill, if he's 6/6 with 3 cards, he's blue, he's gonna one-shot Ban. It's just how it is. But I do have to, consider the fact that depending on what his crit chance is, things might change, because we all know that Ban has incredibly high crit resistance. I think it's base 100%. It's disgusting. So that's probably the only thing you have to worry about. But in terms of Arthur or any other, any other unit that you might run on the Ban team, they will instantly die. There's not really much to counter this, if I'm being honest. Red Eastern does nothing in this scenario because Ban teams are always built to go second. So yeah, yeah. And on top of that, his other skill, Advanced Front, he removes gauge, pretty good. Despair Burn, decreases attack related stats. I mean, that's okay, but that's not really what we're looking at here. He is just an alt rush unit, plain and simple. And if Wales take advantage of this, he could easily become meta, like very, very easily. Like, you know, it just depends on his substats. I think if he has really high crit chance, Barn teams have a brand new counter that they didn't have previously. And honestly, I don't know how free to play this is, because obviously, you know, Lost Vein Ultimate does rely on having you know, dupe levels, but for a whale character, he is incredibly powerful. And as I said, there's really not much to counter this. If you're going first with Diane and Liz, it's just, you know, it is what it is, man. A very powerful unit, and he's not even a Fess. He is not even a Fess. He's just like a regular, not a regular character, he's like a special character, because it says right here, SSR Ragnarok, so this is like Lost Vein for the Ragnarok universe. Very, very strong. Next up, we have the boy Sigurd, owner of Gram, which is obviously the special sword. He is a very unique character because he's the first character who actually works with two different races. Successor of famous sword Gram, at the start of ally's turn, for every enemy affected by stat decrease effect, applies an effect which increases attack stats of all allies by 10% for 2 turns up to 3 times. In addition, the hero is also of demon race. Basically, they are saying you can run this human on the assault melee team. That's basically the only reason why it's there. Affected by uniques and commandments, applies when entering battles. So he is very unique because you can run him with Arthur in the human team, you know, Arthur Barn team. You can run him in the assault melee team, and you know, the reason why he gives a buff is because mainly for assault melee, like he's mainly built to be used in the assault melee team, because assault melee obviously gives a stat decrease debuffs. You know, he'll decrease your defense related stats, and so each time that happens, you know, Sigurd will give you a stack of attack buff, basically up to 30%, because you can stack it 3 times, which is cool. You know, 30% attack buff is, you know, pretty good. Next up, Strike of Protection. Very, very good card. AoE, does damage, and extort. So this is basically a power scaled version of the Nunchuck Barn Snatch. Instead of just snatching, it will actually, you know, do damage in snatch. So very nice. And then, of course, he has Amplify. Very, very good. And the most overkill ultimate I think I've ever seen, inflict flood damage single target. So this is just another one of those one-shot ultimates. Yeah, very good. Only issue is I don't see why you would run him on the assault melee team. I'm gonna keep it real, because he is he basically sustains himself. If you guys don't know, you know, extort is a buff effect on yourself, and it applies a debuff to your opponent. I don't know if it says for every enemy, which is actually incredibly broken. That means you just use this debuff once, you will max out his passive. So yeah, why would you use him on the assault melee team? I am not too certain. I would say run him on the Barn team, because literally you will just use the snatch card. Your Sigurd will get 3 buffs plus 1 buff from the extort. He will get 4 buffs by using this one debuff card. You apply Barn's you know, gift. That's 2 buffs. You will have 6 buffs on this guy with just 2 skills. And then you can use the Amplify card with 6 buffs. So all in one turn. All in one turn. I don't get why you would use him with assault melee. Just use him in the Barn team and you'll be a-okay. Like, honestly, he's gonna have so much power that he could actually maybe be able to deal with Barn. I'm not even kidding. Like, enemy Barns, because having 6 Amplify buffs turn 1 is just pretty broken. It's actually very insane. As I said, I don't know why he works with assault melee. I think it's just you know, to work with the whole, you know, buffing, debuffing situation. I just don't see the use for it, if I'm being honest. But you know, maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. We'll have to see. But I personally think he'll perform 10 times better on the Barn team. Now, he doesn't actually bring anything to the Barn team. He just benefits from being on there. Like, you know, what he does doesn't really help out Barn. He helps out assault melee more. But then again, Barn doesn't need any help, so, you know, I guess that's okay. But definitely a very, very, very strong character. See, these two, like, these are insanely powerful characters. This is what I was talking about, right? I said on Twitter, they need to, like, now that we have Barn, the units that are releasing have to be, like, you know, better than what we've seen. This Lost Vein, in terms of like ult rush, is just insane in terms of how you get his ultimate. He's almost a better version of the red one, even though the red one does have better skills. This guy just gets ultimate 10 times easier. And this Sigurd is just like so incredibly unique. Like he's just like a 10 times better version of Rem. Like he gets 6 buffs turn 1. Let me explain the buffs. You see his passive, it says, for every enemy affected by stat decrease effect, what does Extort do? Decreases stats. So you use 1 debuff, you get 3 stacks of the attack because there's 3 enemies on the field and they each get a stat decrease effect. So as I said, 1 debuff card equals 3 buffs plus the extra one from the Extort. And if you was running this Extort here is actually 10% at rank 1. 10% attack and defense. So yeah, very, very, very strong character. Very excited to use him. Amplify, Flood, all good. And then we come to oh, actually, I forgot to say, he'll probably do very, 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 very well on the Ludo team as well. Just saying. Literally, I'm just saying. He could actually probably rival Escanor, depending on his stats, right? Even though he's red, how quickly he gets Amplify stacks. You know, turn 1 on the Ludo team, you rank him up with Gotha, you use the Extort and then the Amplify card. Depending on how much crit chance he has, there is a very good chance he will delete Barn turn 1. I think it all depends on his substats because substats are so important, but I definitely think he could be able to deal with Barn instead of using Escanor, but we'll have to see. And then we come to the final character, Donar. She's the free character, and if I'm being completely honest, I think she's kind of useless. She's meant to be used in deathmatch, except the way she works, I don't see why you would use her in deathmatch. I feel like she's, you know, she's green, so you can use her in Belmos and Grey Demon. Only issue is she works around buff removal, right? When a debuff is removed by skill usage in deathmatch, increases all allies attack by 40% and attack related stats by 20% for 3 turns. This is incredibly powerful, except it works off removing buffs, so I don't know, man. Actually, I can't say she's useless just yet. Maybe people will be able to find a consistent team to use her in, because all in all, her stats, I mean, her skills aren't, you know, too bad. Bleed is, you know, whatever, but charge is, you know, really, really good. I think Zeratrus has charge, ignores defense, which is very strong against Belmos, and the ultimate is very strong as well. But as I said, we'll need to tweak the teams that we use for the you know, for the death matches. But if we can find a, you know, a good team, then, you know, by all means she'll be good. She's free of charge as well, so you know, everyone will have her. We'll all get outfits for her as well. We get outfits free of charge, so yeah, it's just outside of deathmatch she's pretty useless, just like Dana for Liz, mainly just you know, a unit for raids. But yeah, anyway guys, that will be it. We get the free character who's going to be, you know, depends on what we come up with, she could be really, really good in PvE for raiding. And then we have Sigurd, who is going to be absolutely insane. And then we have this new Lost Vein, who I think is just going to change the way Alt Rush works, because he's just crazy with the passive, absolutely crazy. These two, I think they'll definitely see a lot of play, but once again, I must stress the substats are very, very important. Substats make or break units, I kid you not. If you have bad substats, it almost doesn't matter how good of a unit you are, you're just not going to do damage, you're not going to be able to take damage well, and you know, in the end you'll probably just suck. But yeah, that will be it. Keep an eye out for these two. The banner is a 600 gem banner. You know, you get to 300, you'll get a random GSSR. Then you get to 600, you'll get a pick a character. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my breakdown. I think the meta will change. I definitely think the meta is going to change. There's no way this Lost Vein doesn't get abused by whales, and there's no way that this Sigurd doesn't do something big, whether it's in a counter team, whether it's in the Assault Melee team, which I'm pretty skeptical about. I really don't think he's going to be all too good in the Assault Melee team. And actually, I don't know, man. I don't know, because he actually buffs Assault Melee so much. But we'll have to see. We really do have to see, honestly. But yeah, we'll just see how it goes. But yeah, guys, be very excited. These two are incredibly powerful units. I can't wait. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to watch the beta server get to use these units first, but you know, I don't really care what goes over on JP. I just wait till they come to global and then I do my own stuff with it. Hope you enjoyed the breakdown. If you did, do drop a like on the video, subscribe if you are new, turn on the notification bell, and do support me on Patreon if you are feeling very generous. Have a good day, guys.